The underestimated planet. In the vast expanse of the Milky Way, Earth was but a speck of dust, a blue marble spinning in the cosmic dance of celestial bodies. To the advanced civilizations that dominated the galactic stage, this small planet in the Orion Arm was nothing more than a curiosity, a primitive world barely worth a footnote in the grand archives of interstellar history. The Zarnaxian Empire, spanning over 10,000 star systems, stood as the undisputed ruler of known space. Their sleek, crystalline ships glided between the stars with effortless grace, their technology so advanced it bordered on the miraculous. To the Zarnaxians, most other species were little more than insects to be studied, catalogued, and occasionally swatted away if they became too bothersome. High Admiral Zorax stood on the observation deck of the Imperial flagship, the Eternal Radiance, his 4 arms clasped behind his back as he gazed out at the swirling colors of hyperspace. His scaled skin shimmered with bioluminescent patterns, a sign of his elevated rank and noble lineage. "High Admiral," a voice chirped from behind him. "The latest reports from the Sol system have arrived." Zorax turned, his multifaceted eyes focusing on the young officer who had addressed him. "Aye, yes. The quaint little backwater. What news do our observers bring?" The officer, Lieutenant Vix, pulled up a holographic display. "The humans continue to make incremental progress in their space exploration efforts, High Admiral. They've established a permanent base on their moon and are discussing plans for a manned mission to the 4th planet in their system." Zorax let out a trilling laugh, a sound that would have sent chills down the spine of any lesser being. "How charming. They think they're accomplishing something significant by crawling to the next rock in their system. Have they even managed to harness fusion energy yet?" Vix consulted his datapad. "Not quite, High Admiral. They're still reliant on fossil fuels and primitive fission reactors for much of their energy needs." "Pathetic," Zorax scoffed. "And to think, some of our more excitable xenobiologists believe this species might one day pose a challenge to us. They're barely out of their cradle, fumbling in the dark like blind newborns." As the Zarnaxian leaders dismissed humanity's efforts, they remained blissfully unaware of the revolution brewing beneath the surface of human society. In hidden laboratories and secret facilities scattered across the globe, Earth's brightest minds were on the verge of a breakthrough that would shatter the galactic status quo. Dr. Amelia Chen wiped the sweat from her brow as she peered into the quantum containment chamber. The swirling vortex of subatomic particles danced in patterns that defied conventional physics, a testament to years of painstaking research and countless failures. "We're close," she muttered, more to herself than to her colleagues gathered around the lab. "I can feel it." Dr. Rajiv Patel, her longtime friend and rival, nodded in agreement. "The quantum entanglement is holding steady at 99.7% efficiency, if we can push it just a little further." Their work, along with that of thousands of other scientists and engineers around the world, was part of Project Prometheus, humanity's audacious attempt to leapfrog centuries of technological development. It had begun as a desperate response to the realization that Earth was not alone in the universe and that the cosmic neighbors were far from friendly. The first contact with the Zarnaxian Empire had been brief and humiliating. A small scout ship had entered the solar system, easily evading Earth's primitive detection systems. When it finally deigned to communicate with human authorities, the message was clear. Earth was now cataloged in the Imperial database, classified as a pre-spacefaring civilization of no significant value or threat. That wake-up call had galvanized humanity like nothing else in its history. Old rivalries were set aside, resources pooled, and a singular focus emerged to ensure the survival and independence of the human race in a hostile universe. Project Prometheus was the culmination of this effort, a daring attempt to harness the power of quantum mechanics in ways that even the Zarnaxians had not imagined possible. If successful, it would revolutionize everything from energy production to space travel, potentially catapulting humanity from galactic footnote to major player in a single bound. As Amelia and Rajiv fine-tuned their equations, Similar scenes played out in laboratories and workshops around the globe. In orbit, the crew of the International Space Station worked tirelessly to assemble components for humanity's first true interstellar vessel, hidden in plain sight as mundane satellite repairs and scientific experiments. Deep beneath the lunar surface, miners extracted helium-3 for the prototype fusion reactors that would power Earth's fledgling space fleet. And in the asteroid belt, autonomous probes laid the groundwork for future mining operations, gathering resources that would be crucial for large-scale space construction. All of this activity went unnoticed by the Zarnaxian observers, their arrogance blinding them to the ingenious ways humans disguise their true intentions. The Empire's surveillance focused on obvious military installations and public space programs, completely overlooking the decentralized, grassroots nature of humanity's technological revolution. Back on the Eternal Radiance, High Admiral Zorax reviewed the latest cultural transmissions intercepted from Earth. He chuckled at the primitive entertainment programs, the quaint news broadcasts discussing trivial local matters. "Look at them, Vix," he said, gesturing to a holographic display of a human city, scurrying about like insects, obsessed with their petty concerns. They have no idea of the greatness that exists beyond their atmosphere, of the power that could crush their entire civilization with a thought. Lieutenant Vix nodded dutifully, but something nagged at the back of his mind. "High Admiral, if I may, there's an old Zarnaxian proverb about underestimating one's opponents. Perhaps we should consider a more thorough analysis of human capabilities." Zorax's bioluminescent patterns flashed in annoyance. "You've been listening to too many tales from the frontier, Lieutenant. Humans are barely more than clever animals. Their technology is centuries, if not millennia, behind ours. What possible threat could they pose?" As if in answer to his dismissive question, alarms suddenly blared throughout the Eternal Radiance. Zorax whirled around, his four arms instinctively reaching for command interfaces. "Report," he barked. A frantic officer's voice came over the ship's communication system. "High Admiral, we're detecting a massive energy surge from the Sol system. It's like nothing we've ever seen before." On the main view screen, a blinding flash of light erupted from the vicinity of Earth. As the Zarnaxian crew watched in stunned silence, a sleek vessel emerged from the light, its design unlike anything in the Imperial database. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. Then, with a burst of energy that defied the laws of physics as the Zarnaxians understood them, the Earth ship vanished, only to reappear an instant later at the edge of the Zarnaxian Empire's home system, hundreds of light-years away. High Admiral Zorax's mandibles clicked in disbelief. "Impossible," he whispered. But the evidence was undeniable. In a single moment, humanity had shattered the chains of its isolation and announced its presence on the galactic stage. The age of human irrelevance was over. As news of the quantum jump spread like wildfire through the Empire, panic began to set in. The unthinkable had happened. A species deemed primitive had not only caught up to Zarnaxian technology, but had surpassed it in one of the most crucial areas. On Earth, celebrations erupted as the success of Project Prometheus was revealed to the public. Humanity looked to the stars with new eyes, filled with hope, determination, and a touch of righteous vindication. The galaxy would never be the same again. The era of human ascendancy had begun, and the Zarnaxian Empire trembled at the thought of what might come next. The quantum leap. The news of humanity's quantum jump spread through the galaxy like a shockwave, leaving stunned silence in its wake. On countless worlds, beings of all shapes and sizes gathered around communication devices, struggling to comprehend the implications of what had just occurred. On Earth, the mood was electric. Streets filled with cheering crowds, strangers embracing one another in shared jubilation. Humanity had done the impossible. They had not only caught up to the galactic superpowers, but had leapfrogged them in a single bound. Dr. Amelia Chen stood on a podium before a sea of reporters, her normally composed demeanor cracking under the weight of emotion. "Today," she began, her voice carrying across the hushed crowd, We have proven that humanity's greatest strength lies not in our muscles or our weapons, but in our minds and our indomitable spirit." As she spoke, the quantum ship, christened the Galileo, was already on its return journey, carrying with it data that would revolutionize human understanding of the cosmos. Captain Sarah Martinez, the first human to travel faster than light, couldn't keep the grin off her face as she guided her vessel home. "Mission Control, this is Galileo," she radioed. "You're not going to believe what we've seen out there." Meanwhile, in the depths of Zarnaxian space, High Admiral Zorax faced the most difficult moment of his long career. The Imperial Council chamber buzzed with agitation, holographic projections of the Empire's most powerful leaders, demanding explanations and action. How could this happen? Emperor Zoxar's booming voice filled the chamber. "You assured us that the humans were of no consequence." Zorax fought to keep his bioluminescent patterns from betraying his anxiety. "Your Imperial Majesty, I take full responsibility for this oversight. We are already mobilizing our best scientists to analyze the human technology." "See that you do," the Emperor growled, "and prepare a diplomatic envoy. We must ascertain the full extent of human capabilities and intentions." As the Zarnaxian Empire scrambled to respond, other galactic powers began to take notice. The Alphax Confederation, longtime rivals of the Zarnaxians, saw an opportunity in this shift of power. Emissary Thal, a being of pure energy contained within a humanoid exosuit, was dispatched to Earth with all haste. Back on Earth, governments and corporations alike raced to capitalize on the new technology. Dr. Rajiv Patel found himself thrust into the spotlight, testifying before the United Nations about the potential applications of quantum drive technology. "The implications go far beyond mere travel," he explained, his eyes shining with excitement. "We're talking about clean, practically limitless energy. The ability to manipulate matter at its most fundamental level. The power to reshape worlds." As humanity grappled with its newfound capabilities, the first ripples of change began to spread across the planet. Old conflicts seemed petty in the face of galactic opportunities. Resources once thought scarce became abundant as asteroid mining operations ramped up. The promise of colonizing new worlds eased population pressures and environmental concerns. But not everyone welcomed these rapid changes. Protest movements sprang up, decrying the abandonment of Earth in favor of cosmic adventures. Religious leaders grappled with the theological implications of alien life and humanity's new place in the universe. It was against this backdrop of excitement and turmoil that the Zarnaxian diplomatic envoy arrived in Earth orbit. Their crystalline ship, once a symbol of unattainable advancement, now seemed almost quaint compared to the sleek lines of Earth's quantum vessels. The meeting took place on neutral ground, the expanded International Space Station, now a sprawling complex that served as humanity's first true spaceport. Dr. Chen and Captain Martinez stood side by side, representing Earth's scientific and exploratory achievements, while political leaders from major nations flanked them. Ambassador Zex, the Zarnaxian envoy, struggled to maintain his species' typical air of superiority as he addressed the human delegation. "On behalf of the Zarnaxian Empire, I extend greetings to Earth. We congratulate you on your recent advancements." The words seemed to pain him, and Dr. Chen had to suppress a smirk. "We thank you for your kind words, Ambassador," she replied smoothly. "We look forward to peaceful cooperation and exchange of knowledge between our peoples." But behind the diplomatic niceties, both sides knew that a new reality was taking shape. The humans, for their part, had not forgotten the dismissive treatment they had received from the Empire. There was a glint of steel behind their polite smiles, a determination to never again be seen as insignificant. As the formal meetings progressed, Emissary Thal of the Alphax Confederation made his move. In a private conversation with United Nations Secretary-General Adebayo, he laid out a proposal. "The Zarnaxians have dominated this sector for too long," Thal's synthesized voice purred. "With your quantum technology and our established networks, we could reshape the balance of power. Ensure a more Equitable galaxy. Secretary General Adebayo listened carefully, neither accepting nor rejecting the offer outright. Humanity was new to the galactic stage, and caution was warranted. But the possibility of playing the established powers against each other was tempting. As news of the diplomatic meetings spread, Earth's quantum shipyards worked around the clock. The Galileo was soon joined by sister ships, the Newton, the Curie, the Einstein. A new era of exploration and expansion was dawning, and humanity was determined to seize it with both hands. Dr. Chen and her team continued to push the boundaries of the technology. Each breakthrough brought new possibilities: faster ships, more efficient energy production, even the theoretical possibility of manipulating the fabric of space-time itself. "We're just scratching the surface," she told Captain Martinez as they watched a test of a new quantum communication array. "Who knows what we'll be capable of in another decade?" But as humanity's power grew, so too did the concerns of the galactic community. The Zarnaxian Empire, while outwardly maintaining a stance of peaceful cooperation, began to secretly fortify its borders. Other races watched Earth with a mixture of fear and anticipation, wondering if these newcomers would be conquerors or liberators. In a secure facility deep beneath the Himalayan mountains, world leaders gathered to discuss humanity's next moves. The technology that had propelled them to the stars could easily be turned to weaponry of unimaginable power. The temptation to use their advantage to settle old scores or ensure human dominance was strong. "We stand at a crossroads," Secretary General Adebayo addressed the assembly. "The choices we make now will shape not just the future of Earth, but of the galaxy itself. We must decide, will we be the nightmare that other races fear, or will we be the dream they aspire to?" As the debate raged on Earth, the quantum ships continued to push further into the cosmos. They encountered wonders beyond imagination: living gas giants, sentient nebulae, artifacts of long-dead civilizations that made even the Zarnaxians seem young. With each discovery, with each peaceful first contact with a new species, humanity's perspective expanded. They began to see themselves not just as Earthlings, but as citizens of a vast and intricate cosmic tapestry. But the journey would not be without its challenges. As the Galileo prepared for its most ambitious mission yet, a leap to the galactic core itself, tensions with the Zarnaxian Empire reached a boiling point. Imperial warships began to amass at the borders of human-explored space. The Alphax Confederation whispered promises of support in exchange for technology sharing. And somewhere in the vast emptiness between the stars, an ancient force stirred, awakened by the ripples of humanity's quantum leap. The stage was set for a confrontation that would determine the fate not just of humanity, but of the entire Milky Way. As Captain Martinez ran pre-flight checks on the Galileo, she couldn't shake the feeling that their next journey would be their most important yet. "All systems are go," she reported to Mission Control. "We're ready to make the jump." As the quantum drive hummed to life, humanity held its collective breath. The next chapter in their cosmic adventure was about to begin, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The Zarnaxian Ultimatum. The tension in the air was palpable as the Galileo prepared for its jump to the galactic core. Captain Sarah Martinez's fingers hovered over the quantum drive activation sequence, a bead of sweat trickling down her temple, despite the ship's perfectly regulated environment. "Mission Control, this is Galileo," she spoke into the comm, her voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. "We're initiating the jump in T-10 seconds." Back on Earth, billions held their breath. This jump would take humanity further than it had ever gone before, to the very heart of the Milky Way. Dr. Amelia Chen stood in Mission Control, her eyes fixed on the main display, silently mouthing the countdown along with the rest of the team. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. Just as Captain Martinez was about to activate the drive, alarms blared throughout the ship. On the main view screen, a massive fleet of Zarnaxian warships materialized, their crystalline hulls glinting menacingly in the starlight. "Abort jump," Dr. Chen's voice crackled over the comms. "Captain, Get out of there now." With reflexes honed by countless simulations, Martinez redirected the quantum energy, executing an emergency jump that sent the Galileo hurtling back towards Earth. As they re-emerged in friendly space, the crew stared at each other in shocked silence. The Zarnaxian fleet's sudden appearance was no coincidence. Within hours, every human communication device, from the most advanced quantum array to the simplest smartphone, crackled to life with a message from High Admiral Zorax himself. "People of Earth," his translated voice boomed, the underlying clicks and trills of his native language adding an alien menace to his words. "Your reckless expansion ends now. The quantum technology you wield is too dangerous to be left in the hands of such a young and impulsive species." The ultimatum that followed sent shockwaves through human society. Surrender all quantum technology to the Zarnaxian Empire within 72 Earth hours, or face total annihilation. As panic gripped the planet, world leaders convened an emergency session of the United Nations. The debate was fierce, with some advocating immediate surrender to avoid conflict, while others called for a show of strength. "We cannot bow to these threats," the U.S. President argued passionately. "We've come too far, achieved too much, to simply hand over the key to our future." But others were not so sure. "And what of the billions of lives at stake?" The Chinese premier countered. "Can we truly risk the fate of our entire species on this gamble?" As the debate raged on, Dr. Chen and her team worked feverishly in their lab, pushing the quantum technology to its limits. If there was a way to outmaneuver the Zarnaxians, to protect Earth without surrendering their hard-won advancements, they had to find it. Meanwhile, in the depths of space, the Alphax Confederation sought its opportunity. Emissary Thal once again approached Earth's leaders, this time with a more concrete proposal. "Join us, the energy being urged. Together, we can stand against the Zarnaxian threat. Your quantum technology combined with our vast resources and established networks, we could reshape the galaxy, end the Empire's tyranny once and for all." The offer was tempting, but Earth's leaders were wary of jumping from one potential overlord to another. Humanity had come too far to simply become a pawn in some cosmic game of chess. As the deadline approached, a plan began to take shape. It was risky, audacious, and relied on technology that had barely been tested. But in the face of extinction, humanity was willing to take that leap. Captain Martinez stood before a hastily assembled fleet of Earth's quantum ships, her voice firm as she addressed the crews. "What we're about to attempt has never been done before. But then again, neither had quantum travel until we achieved it. We are the descendants of explorers and innovators, of those who dared to dream big and reach for the stars. Today, we carry that legacy forward." The plan was multifaceted. While the bulk of Earth's fleet would engage the Zarnaxians in a massive space battle, drawing their attention, a smaller team led by Dr. Chen would attempt something unprecedented, using the quantum drive to create a localized field that would temporarily remove a section of spacetime from normal reality. If successful, it would not only protect Earth from the Zarnaxian weapons, but also demonstrate humanity's true mastery over the quantum realm. As the 72-hour deadline ticked away, final preparations were made. Around the world, people huddled with loved ones, eyes turned skyward, praying to countless gods, or simply to the indomitable spirit of humanity itself. In orbit, the crew of the International Space Station made their own preparations. They had unanimously decided to remain at their posts, ready to coordinate Earth's defenses and serve as a last line of communication, should the worst happen. With just minutes to spare, High Admiral Zorax's voice once again filled the airwaves. "Your time is up, humans. What is your decision?" The response came not in words, but in action. In a perfectly coordinated maneuver, Earth's quantum fleet blinked into existence around the Zarnaxian Armada. Leading the charge was the Galileo, with Captain Martinez at the helm. "This is humanity's answer," she broadcast on all frequencies. "We choose freedom. We choose progress. We choose our own path among the stars." With that, the battle was joined. Quantum-powered ships danced between the massive Zarnaxian cruisers, their advanced maneuverability making up for what they lacked in raw firepower. The void of space lit up with energy weapons and explosions, a deadly light show visible from Earth's surface. But this was merely the opening act. As the space battle raged, Dr. Chen and her team initiated their daring plan. From a secret facility on the moon, they activated a massive quantum array, channeling more energy than humanity had ever attempted to control. The effects were immediate and awe-inspiring. A shimmering field began to envelop the Earth, growing outward from the poles. Zarnaxian weapons fire simply vanished as it hit the boundary, as if the planet had ceased to exist in normal spacetime. On the Zarnaxian flagship, High Admiral Zorax watched in disbelief as his mighty fleet was outmaneuvered by the very species he had dismissed as primitive just months ago. His mandibles clicked in agitation as he barked orders, trying desperately to regain control of the situation. But the tide had turned. The human quantum ships, emboldened by the success of Dr. Chen's gambit, pressed their advantage. They didn't seek to destroy the Zarnaxian fleet, but to disable it, to force a surrender without unnecessary bloodshed. As the battle reached its climax, a new player entered the field. The Alphax Confederation, seeing which way the wind was blowing, decided to make its move. A fleet of their ships Quantum jumped into the fray, ostensibly to aid humanity. But Captain Martinez, her tactical instincts on high alert, sensed something was amiss. The Alphax ships seemed less interested in engaging the Zarnaxians than in probing Earth's defenses, testing the limits of the quantum field. In that moment, she realized the truth. Humanity wasn't just fighting for survival against the Zarnaxians, but for its very independence in a galaxy of ancient, powerful civilizations. As alarms blared and energy weapons flashed around her, Captain Martinez made a decision that would alter the course of human history. She opened a channel not just to Earth, but to the Zarnaxian fleet as well. "This has gone on long enough." Her voice rang out, clear and determined. "We've all seen what this technology is capable of. If this continues, we risk tearing the very fabric of space-time apart. I propose an immediate ceasefire and open negotiations, not as conquerors or conquered, but as equals." For a moment, silence reigned across the battlefield. Then, slowly, the weapons fire began to die down. On screens across Earth and throughout the Zarnaxian fleet, High Admiral Zorax's face appeared, his expression unreadable. "Perhaps," he said slowly, "we have underestimated you, humans. We will. Consider your proposal." As the quantum field around Earth slowly dissipated, revealing the blue marble once more, a collective sigh of relief echoed across the planet. The immediate danger had passed, but humanity knew that this was just the beginning. They had proven themselves on the galactic stage, demonstrated that they were a force to be reckoned with. But with that recognition came new responsibilities, new challenges, and the dawning realization that their future was now irrevocably tied to the vast, complex tapestry of galactic civilization. As the Galileo docked with the International Space Station, Captain Martinez allowed herself a small smile. Whatever came next, humanity would face it together, with the same spirit of innovation and determination that had brought them to the stars. The next chapter of human history was about to be written, and for the first time, it would be penned among the stars. Battle for Sol. The ceasefire held, but the tension in the Sol system was thick enough to cut with a knife. Earth's quantum fleet maintained a defensive formation around the planet, while the Zarnaxian armada loomed ominously at the edge of the system. The Alphax ships hovered equidistant from both, their intentions still unclear. On the International Space Station, now serving as a neutral ground for negotiations, representatives from Earth, the Zarnaxian Empire, and the Alphax Confederation gathered. The station's observation dome provided a stark backdrop. The blue marble of Earth on one side, the glittering arrays of alien ships on the other. Dr. Amelia Chen sat across from High Admiral Zorax, their eyes locked in a silent battle of wills. Captain Sarah Martinez stood nearby, her hand resting casually on the quantum pistol at her hip, a reminder of humanity's newfound capabilities. "Let us speak plainly," Dr. Chen began, her voice calm but firm. "The galaxy has changed. The balance of power has shifted. We're here to ensure that shift doesn't lead to more conflict." High Admiral Zorax's mandibles clicked in agitation. "You speak of change, of balance, but you fail to grasp the responsibilities that come with such power. Your species is young, impulsive. The quantum technology you wield could tear reality apart if misused." "And yet," Captain Martinez interjected, "it was our young, impulsive species that found a way to harness this power safely. Perhaps age doesn't always equate to wisdom, Admiral." A new galactic order. In the months following the progenitor incident, the Sol system became a hub of unprecedented interspecies cooperation. The quantum barrier, initially created as a defensive measure, now served as a testament to what could be achieved when different civilizations worked together. On Earth, the skyline of major cities had changed dramatically. Zarnaxian crystal spires stood alongside human skyscrapers, while Alphax energy constructs pulsed with otherworldly light. The planet had become a melting pot of galactic cultures, ideas, and technologies. Dr. Amelia Chen stood at the podium of the newly established Galactic Council chamber in Geneva, her eyes scanning the diverse audience before her. Representatives from Earth, the Zarnaxian Empire, the Alphax Confederation, and even emissaries from other races who had been drawn by news of recent events, all waited for her to speak. "Fellow sentients," she began, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's journey, "we stand at a crossroads of cosmic history. The events of recent months have shown us that we are not alone, that the universe is far grander and more complex than we ever imagined. But they have also shown us the power of unity, of combining our strengths to face challenges that would overwhelm any one of us alone." As she spoke, holographic displays showed images of the combined fleet facing the progenitor ship, of scientists from different species working side by side to create the quantum barrier, of the first human Zarnaxian cultural exchange programs. In orbit, Captain Sarah Martinez watched the speech from the bridge of the Galileo, now the flagship of Earth's growing interstellar fleet. Beside her stood High Admiral Zorax, his presence on a human ship a clear sign of the changing times. "Your Dr. Chen speaks well," Zorax commented, his mandibles clicking softly. "She captures the essence of this new galactic order we find ourselves in." Martinez nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. "We've all come a long way from where we started, haven't we, Admiral?" Their conversation was interrupted by a proximity alert. A ship had just quantum jumped into the system, a sleek vessel of unknown design. Before either of them could react, a message came through. "Greetings, children of Sol. We are the Aquilarians, and we come seeking alliance and exchange of knowledge." Martinez and Zorax shared a look. The galaxy, it seemed, was opening up to them more and more each day. Back on Earth, Dr. Chen continued her address. "Today, we formalize the Galactic Concordat, a pact of mutual defense, scientific cooperation, and cultural exchange. No longer will we view the cosmos as a battlefield of competing interests, but as a vast frontier that we can explore together." As she spoke, quantum communicators carried her words to every corner of known space. On thousands of worlds, beings of all shapes and sizes listened, some with hope, others with trepidation, but all aware that the universe had changed irrevocably. In a secret chamber beneath the Galactic Council building, a team of scientists led by Dr. Rajiv Patel worked tirelessly on Project Prometheus 2.0. The quantum technology that had propelled humanity to the stars was evolving, promising to unlock secrets of the universe that even the progenitors might not have imagined. "We're close to a breakthrough," Patel murmured, his eyes fixed on a swirling vortex of quantum particles. "If we can just stabilize the field." Beside him, a Zarnaxian scientist made an adjustment to a crystal matrix, while an Alphax energy being pulsed in concentration. The boundaries between species blurred in the face of scientific curiosity and shared purpose. As Dr. Chen's speech concluded, a thunderous applause filled the chamber. Representatives from various worlds stood, signaling their agreement to join the Concordat. It was a moment of hope, of possibility, a new chapter in galactic history. But not all were pleased with these developments. In the shadows of distant star systems, those who had profited from conflict and division watched with growing concern. The Void Consortium, a secretive group of arms dealers and war profiteers, saw their influence waning in this new era of cooperation. On a hidden asteroid base, the consortium's leaders gathered. "This cannot be allowed to continue," a hooded figure hissed. "Peace is bad for business. We must find a way to sow discord, to reignite the fires of conflict." Their machinations would remain a looming threat, a reminder that the path to a truly united galaxy would not be without its challenges. As the formal proceedings of the Galactic Concordat concluded, Captain Martinez found herself back on the observation deck of the International Space Station. Earth gleamed below, while the quantum barrier shimmered faintly at the edge of perception, a protective embrace around humanity's home. "Quite a view, isn't it?" a voice said behind her. She turned to see Emissary Thal, the Alphax representative, its energy form pulsing gently within its containment suit. "It never gets old," Martins replied. "No matter how far we go, how much we see out there, this will always be home." Thal's form shimmered in what might have been agreement. "Your species has come far in a short time, Captain. But the true test lies ahead. The galaxy is vast, and not all its inhabitants share the ideals of your Concordat." Martinez nodded, her hand unconsciously moving to the quantum pistol at her side. "We'll face those challenges as they come, together." As if in response to her words, an alert chimed softly. The quantum communication was coming in from deep space. The first signals from the Galileo Bii, humanity's first true long-range exploration vessel. "This is Captain Chen Lai of the Galileo Bii," a voice crackled through, filled with excitement. "We've made contact with a new species in the Andromeda Galaxy. They call themselves the Luminians, and you won't believe what they've shown us." Martinez smiled as she listened to the report. The universe, vast as it was, suddenly felt a little smaller, a little more connected. Humanity had taken its place among the stars, not as conquerors or subjects, but as partners in the grand cosmic dance. As the quantum barrier around Sol pulsed with energy, as ships from a dozen worlds docked at Earth's orbital stations, as scientists of multiple species worked together to unlock the secrets of the universe, one thing was clear. The future, with all its challenges and opportunities, was bright indeed. The story of humanity among the stars was just beginning. And oh, what a story it promised to be.